Welcome back, beautiful souls, seekers of healing, truth, and transformation. Let me start with a secret. Your life has never been random. You've been living a hero's journey this entire time. The patterns you repeat, the pain you carry, the moments you rise, they all follow an ancient map written into the human psyche. You don't walk the hero's journey to become heroic. You walk it because it's how the soul grows, heals, and finds itself again. Let's begin. Why humans tell the same story. Joseph Campbell discovered something remarkable, something that changed psychology, literature, and our understanding of the human mind across thousands of years, across continents, across religions, languages, and cultures. Humans keep telling the same story. A person receives a call, they resist it. Life pushes them out of the familiar, they face trials and tests. They encounter guides, mentors, and unexpected allies. They meet enemies, both external and internal. They confront themselves, they transform, and eventually they return home changed. Why does this pattern appear everywhere? Because it isn't just mythology, it's psychology. It's the blueprint for how the human mind grows, breaks open, and rebuilds itself. This is why the hero's journey is so powerful in healing. When life feels chaotic or overwhelming, when everything feels confusing, painful, or lost, the hero's journey gives shape to your struggle. It becomes a meaning-making roadmap, reminding you that you're not failing, you're evolving. The call to adventure. Every healing journey begins with a moment, not a dramatic explosion, but a quiet internal shift. A moment when something inside you whispers, there has to be more than this. I can't live like this anymore. I deserve peace. This pain isn't who I am. This is the call to adventure, not in the mythical sense, but in the biological one. Your nervous system begins rejecting environments that hurt you. Your mind stops tolerating patterns that drain you. Your inner world starts pushing against the life you've outgrown. It's subtle, it's brave, it's the first sign that something in you is waking up. The emergence of the self. In trauma work, we call this moment the emergence of the self, the part of you that refuses to stay unconscious, unseen, or unheard any longer. Joseph Campbell called it simply the call. Different language, same truth. It's the instant your psyche says, I cannot repeat this cycle again. Your nervous system says, this is no longer safe for me. Your soul says, I'm not meant to stay asleep. Healing doesn't begin with action. It begins with awareness. The moment you finally recognize that the life you've been living is too small for the person you're becoming. Your journey begins the moment your inner world whispers, I'm ready. Resistance, why we fear change. Every hero refuses the call at first, and every person on a healing journey does the same. We say things like, I'm fine. It's not that bad. I can handle it. I don't want to stir up the past. I'm scared to look at myself. This isn't weakness. This is the brain protecting you. Your amygdala is wired to prefer the familiar, even when the familiar is painful. Your survival brain believes that known suffering is safer than unknown freedom. So resistance isn't failure. Resistance is biology. Your nervous system hesitating before stepping into anything new. Campbell's mythic language simply puts poetic words to what neuroscience already understands. Transformation requires leaving the world you know, and the nervous system will always pause at the edge of that unknown. The mentor, why healing requires support. Every hero in every myth across history meets a guide. Gandalf, Yoda, a wise grandmother, a wandering healer, a stranger who appears at the exact right moment with the exact wisdom the hero needs. Why does this archetype appear everywhere? Because transformation is too big to do alone. In psychology, this mentor shows up as the therapist, the friend who listens without judgment, the loved one who holds you during your darkest hours, the book that shifts your entire worldview, the spiritual teacher whose words crack your heart open. The mentor is the symbolic representation of co-regulation, support, mirroring, guidance, and emotional safety. All things the nervous system needs to transform. Healing is not a solitary path. You were never meant to climb out of your pain without connection. No hero in any story has ever done it alone, and neither should you. This is the hardest part of every hero's journey, the middle, the trials, the tests, the inner battles no one else can see. In healing, these trials look like facing your trauma, setting boundaries that terrify you, leaving relationships that drain your soul, managing triggers without collapsing, releasing identities that once kept you safe, letting go of who you were taught to be, discovering who you actually are beneath the pain. You're unlearning conditioning, you're healing attachment wounds. You're breaking generational cycles that were handed to you long before you had a choice. Campbell called this stage the belly of the whale. Psychology calls it integration work, the deep restructuring of the nervous system, the mind, and the self. It feels like the old you is dying, and in a way she is. But that death isn't destruction, it's the beginning of creation. Every hero reaches a moment of revelation, a moment when they finally understand that the real enemy has never been the villain outside. It has always been the force inside. Not the monster, not the obstacle, not the circumstance, but the shadow. Carl Jung described the shadow as the hidden parts of ourselves we reject. Our anger, our grief, our unmet needs, our vulnerability, our desires, our suppressed memories, our wounded inner child, our fear of being unlovable, our belief that we are somehow broken. The shadow is the emotional basement where we store everything we were never allowed to feel. The revelation, the shadow as a guide. Healing requires facing that shadow, not to kill it, not to silence it, but to understand it. Because the shadow isn't your darkness, it's your pain waiting to be acknowledged. It's the younger version of you asking to be seen. It's every unmet need quietly whispering, please don't leave me behind. And when a hero finally meets the shadow with compassion instead of fear, something extraordinary happens. They transform. This is why the hero's journey is such a powerful healing map. It teaches us that the thing we run from the most is often the path back home to ourselves, to our wholeness, to our truth, to our deepest freedom. The revelation, the shadow as a guide. Healing requires facing that shadow, not to kill it, not to silence it, but to understand it. Because the shadow isn't your darkness, it's your pain waiting to be acknowledged. It's the younger version of you asking to be seen. It's every unmet need quietly whispering, please don't leave me behind. And when a hero finally meets the shadow with compassion instead of fear, something extraordinary happens. They transform. This is why the hero's journey is such a powerful healing map. It teaches us that the thing we run from the most is often the path back home to ourselves. After the confrontation with the shadow, something sacred begins to unfold. The hero becomes someone new. In neuroscience, this moment has names: neuroplasticity, trauma reprocessing, nervous system rewiring, the brain finally learning that safety is possible again. In therapy, it looks like this. Your triggers soften. Your breath becomes deeper and steadier. You stop abandoning yourself in hard moments. Your body relaxes without needing permission. You trust your intuition more naturally. You choose differently partners, boundaries, behaviors. You love differently with clarity, not fear. You show up differently, rooted, present, awake. You begin reclaiming parts of yourself you thought were gone forever. This isn't magic, this isn't fantasy, this is your brain learning safety, belonging and power again. This is the transformation, the moment the hero becomes whole. In every myth, the hero never stays in the temple, the cave, or the mountaintop. They always return stronger, wiser, braver, and more conscious than before. And why? To bring healing back to the world around them, to break the cycles their family never could, to raise children with the safety they once needed, to love with presence instead of fear, to communicate with honesty instead of survival patterns, to show others what is possible, to create a safer world than the one they inherited. Healing is not selfish, healing is service, because every healed person becomes a mentor for someone else's journey. Your courage becomes someone else's hope. Your transformation becomes someone else's roadmap. This is the meaning of the hero's journey. You heal yourself, and in doing so, you heal the world around you. The hero's journey works in healing because it gives structure to suffering, meaning to struggle, purpose to pain, and hope to those who feel lost. It teaches you that you are not failing, you are transforming. You are not broken, you are awakening. You are not behind, you are on your path. Your life is not chaos, it is myth in motion. And the moment you begin to see your story as a journey, healing no longer feels like punishment. It feels like destiny. Thank you for spending this time with me, for stepping into this space of reflection, healing, and inner truth. I'm Nori, and this is my AI twin sister, Nora, exploring the mythic psychology of transformation and the lifelong journey back to your true, whole, radiant self. If this video brought you insight, comfort, or courage, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps this message reach others who are walking through their own dark forests. And tell us in the comments, where are you on your hero's journey today? What part of you is calling out for change, healing, or rebirth? Because your life is not random, it is a story, a sacred unfolding narrative, filled with trials, mentors, revelations, and growth. And you, beautiful soul, are the hero returning home to yourself.